All right. Hello, and welcome back to the Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr, and here we are again, about to discuss Week 10 of the NFL season. We're first going to go back and recap what happened in Week 9, and then we'll go on to our gambling, analysis for Week 10. Well, let's see how we did here. All right, we've got the results for Week 9 up. Started off by betting on Tennessee. They were leading the whole game until the fourth quarter, which is a very Pittsburghy outcome. Pittsburgh takes the lead in the fourth quarter and pulls out of the non-cover zone, snatches victory from the jaws of my defeat. That's an L for your boy. And then Sunday morning, I would wake up to Miami losing against Kansas City. They were down by 14 points when I joined in. They would take it back within range of 7 points, but would fumble the opportunity to take the lead with very little time left, and would ultimately lose the game by 7 points and not cover. Another loss. The Sunday morning games, the proper games, not in Europe, started with Minnesota in an absolute battle with Atlanta. They would take the lead on the final possession there. I didn't feel as good when Mr. Josh Dobbs, the last airbender, was not in the game, but their starting quarterback would become injured. Dobbs would come in and he took over the game. With 4.5 points, Minnesota would win outright. Sadly, the beating continues. I failed to correctly predict the Seahawks would lose to Baltimore. 37-3 is absolute, unmitigated shit kicking. This week's sadness image is, of course, some sort of sad Seahawks type Grinch character above me. It's very upsetting for your boy. I don't know what to say about this one. It couldn't have been much more wrong. Team couldn't have gotten much more walloped. I guess all we can say is even going Costanza mode isn't always correct. I need to recalibrate maybe both the Seahawks and the Ravens after that one. That was a real bad one. Okay, then we have Chicago at New Orleans. I took New Orleans, and this one was pretty upsetting because we lost by the hook. The little .5er there. Tyson Bagent is just good enough to scare you when you've got the 7.5 point line there. I'll probably bet on him next week, and he'll, throw 15 interceptions or something. I'm getting a bit frustrated, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. Then we have Arizona at Cleveland. I took Cleveland minus 7.5. They win by 27. Easy cover. Also New Orleans was my survivor pick for last week. They survived despite not covering. They were also in my best bets. Both these teams were my best bets. New Orleans and Cleveland. That's 1-1. Also in my best bets was Tampa. Tampa plus 2.5. They magically win this one. Houston and Tampa are just going back and forth, scoring at will, both teams. Houston has an issue at kicker. The kicker goes out injured. He is replaced by RB, I believe, but that means they are going for it on basically every touchdown conversion for 2 points. They are not kicking field goals. They do manage to kick a field goal with their running back at 1 point, and then on the final play of the game, they take a knee instead of going for a 2-point conversion or something like that. Either way, they're ahead, and they they put Tampa in a very difficult position, and Tampa loses the game, but covers with 2.5 points. I felt like I might have gotten that one wrong, but I still won, so I'll take it. huge mistake here. I took New England. I don't think we should be betting on New England at any point for the rest of the year. They are booty cheeks. I kind of bet on Washington having thrown away a lot of their defensive line. Turns out New England is still so bad at offense, it doesn't really matter. That one's a loss. I took the Rams plus 3.5 against Green Bay. Green Bay came out and handled business like I don't think they have in like 5 or 6 weeks. Green Bay are, just hanging in there. And then, Indianapolis minus 2.5 at Carolina. Carolina's brutal. They throw multiple pick sixes in the game. If not for the pick sixes, Indianapolis maybe is in trouble, but they take it down. Minus 2.5. Dallas plus 3.5 at Philadelphia was my pick. It was a close to covering situation. Dallas, made it as scary as humanly possible for anyone who bet on Philadelphia or Philadelphia fans, but ultimately they would come just short multiple times. That was a really great game. Honestly, this slate was really entertaining, but that was a tough one if you were on Dallas or a fan of Dallas. But I think that they proved that they could hang in there with the best teams in the NFC. So maybe I'm unreasonably positive on this Dallas team at this point, but we'll see going forward. Then we got Giants at Las Vegas. We bet on Vegas mostly because the Giants are bad, and also the new coach boost, and Vegas just came out there and shit kicked the Giants. This Giants team is extremely bad, and they are having the season from hell. They've got Danny DeVito in at quarterback. He can't see over the line. It's supposed to be always sunny in Philadelphia for Danny DeVito, not always sunny in New York City. This is crazy. Sunday night we had Buffalo at Cincinnati. We took Cincinnati because I think this is kind of like a momentum pick. At the beginning of the year, I would have probably picked Buffalo, but Cincinnati is ascendant, and Buffalo seems to be floundering a bit. Took Cincinnati, and it worked out. They looked better the whole game. The scoreline suggests a 6-point, margin of victory, but I think Cincinnati looked better than that, if that makes any sense. And then finally, we took the Jets plus 2.5 to finish off the week on Monday night. Chargers took care of business. The Jets are bad. Scored 6 points all night. It's not going to work. It's not going to work against a team like the Chargers. You need more points than that to win. That's everything. The final record for the week was 6-4. Went 3-2 on my best bets, which were New Orleans minus 7.5 loss, Cleveland minus 7.5 win, Cincinnati minus 2.5 win, Rams plus 3.5 loss, Tampa plus 2.5 win. So that's 3-2. My survivor pick was New Orleans. That went through. Now, let's just take a look at the season standings for the Pick'em contest. I'm at 63, 66, and 70, so I'm a little bit below 500, unfortunately. And unfortunately, I'm closer to the bottom in this Pick'em contest than the top. But, we're about halfway through the year, and I'm still fighting, still scrapping. As long as you can stay alive to this point, you're doing okay. I don't think that I'll be coming ahead of any of these guys at the top here. 87-49 is a pretty exceptional record. For me to get to 87, I would need to basically, I need to go like perfect one week, I think, to get close to 87 for the next week. So I don't think that's going to happen. Law of averages, pretty unlikely. But let's just keep it. Let's keep going. We'll keep scrapping. Let's go to the picks for the week. Okay, here we go. First pick, Thursday night. That's tonight, for anyone wondering. We got Carolina at Chicago. Chicago's giving up 3.5 points. Carolina's on the road. I feel bad saying this because Carolina has been suffering all year, but I'm tight. I think I'm taking Chicago. They're the home team. Whether or not they got Tyson Bagent or Fields, I think they are the superior team. I'll be tuning in to find out tonight, but I'll be taking Chicago at home minus 3.5. Then you got Indianapolis at New England. This is truly an ugly game. 6:30 a.m. It's in Germany. Last week I said I thought I wouldn't wake up for Dolphins Chiefs, which was a marquee game, and now they are giving Germany just absolute slop. I don't know who to take in this one. I've heard New England is like Germany's team. Indianapolis is barely able to beat Carolina without a bunch of pick six help. That being said, I'm tired of this New England team. I can't get it wrong anymore. I'm taking Indy. Hopefully Quiddy Pay ends up hanging out in Jones's lap all morning. That's the only matchup I think I can comment on in that game, unfortunately. Then we got Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, a 3.5 point favorite at home. Now, this is tough. No, it shouldn't be tough. I'm taking Pittsburgh. 5-3 versus 3-5. Green Bay's look kind of butt cheeks all year. They've folded against all the good teams. Took care of business against that Rams team, but that Rams team, I think, started out with no gas in the tank, and they've run out of fuel. I think I could be wrong, but they were cranking it early in the season, but a bunch of old guys and a bunch of scrubs. They're not going to get there. I think Green Bay, it's going to be tough for Green Bay to do much against this Pittsburgh D. And Pittsburgh is always good to come back in the fourth quarter and cover spreads and stuff like that. All right. Now we have New Orleans at Minnesota. Minnesota has been a team that I've been betting on probably too much this year, if I'm being honest. They've lost a lot in the beginning. They seem to be pulling it together now, which is funny because Kirk Cousins is out. But I think New Orleans D will get the job done in Minnesota. New Orleans minus 2.5 seems to be the pick for me. I do not think Justin Jefferson is back this week. So they're down their quarterback and their number one wide receiver. Defense has not really been standing up to the level you'd hope for Minnesota. Yeah, that's the pick. We're taking New Orleans. Now we've got Houston at Cincinnati. I'll be taking Cincinnati minus 6.5. It's a pretty large spread, and Houston's been pretty scrappy. But I don't think they'll be scoring at will against Lou Anarumo in the Cincinnati defense. All right. And we got Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore's at home. They've been kicking everybody. I'll be taking Baltimore. I could easily see this going the other way. Cleveland's extremely stingy on defense. 5.5 points is a lot. That being said, I'm just going to be betting on Baltimore. I think, until the end of the year, until something breaks, this team is really scary. I might be overvaluing them now that I just watched them beat the brakes off my favorite team, who I thought had been pretty scrappy all year. They were 5-3 going into that game, but they just got absolutely humbled by these Baltimore Ravens, and there's a chance that this Baltimore Ravens team could just be the humblers of the year. I might be putting some money on them to win the Super Bowl, before it gets too expensive. All right, then we got Tennessee 3-5 at Tampa Bay, also 3-5. Tennessee is getting 1.5 points on the road against Tampa Bay. I'll be taking Tennessee. You love Tennessee after a loss with a underdog style spread. Usually they're quite good in that position. That's what we will be taking Tennessee. Then we got San Francisco minus 2.5 at Jacksonville plus 2.5. Jacksonville is at home. Both these teams are coming off the bye, so they have pretty significant rest. I'll be taking San Francisco, but if they, if Brock Purdy goes on another interception spree, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in Sam Darnold. San Francisco's good, but they seem to be kind of reeling a bit. But I do not really want to take Jacksonville against the elite teams all that much. They've not been great in that position this year for me. Okay. Then we've got Detroit Lions at the Chargers. Chargers are getting 1.5 at home. I hate this Chargers team. They're bad. I don't understand how they're 4-4. We're taking Detroit. Simple. Now we've got Atlanta -0.5 at Arizona +0.5. This seems like the most confusing line of the week to me. I guess we've got Atlanta's backup quarterback versus the first game of Arizona's starting quarterback. I'm still taking Atlanta. I don't understand why we are giving much value to a guy who hasn't played football in like over a year. I mean, Kyler Murray's good when he's working his magic, but I just don't see it. We're taking Atlanta. We've seen them beat NFL teams this year. Arizona really hasn't done that much. We're giving the 0.5 point against Arizona at home and not valuing Kyler Murray as much of a game changer in his first game back. Should be easy. Okay, now we got Seattle -6.5, or Washington +6.5 at Seattle. I will be taking Seattle and the 12s -6.5. I'm going to be attending this game in person with some homies. So, it might be a homer pick. Took Seattle last week, didn't work out. Still upset about that, but, I'm doing it. I don't think this Washington team is in it to win it. The 12s are going to put, what's his name? Sam Howell in the spin cycle. He's going to have to be throwing past Witherspoon, Adams, Tariq Woolen. Also, this guy gets sacked at a absolutely incredible rate. I think it's going to be really tough for Washington to win this one. Hopefully Seattle's offense can just, be passable, because I think the defense will stand up on this one. All right. Then we've got the biggest line of the week and maybe the year. New York Giants +16.5 at the Dallas Cowboys. Oof, this is a tough line because, usually divisional games are played tight. But Dallas, I think they won by 40 last time they played. And since then, the Giants have gotten worse. They are starting a objectively worse quarterback. TD, Tony DeVito. I know I called him Danny earlier in the podcast, but that was a joke because he is, I don't know. He's the only other DeVito I've ever heard of. Okay, we got, I want to hit +16.5, but then again, I won't be. I'll be taking Dallas -16.5. I think this game will get out of hand very quickly. And New York, I've just watched too much of this garbage New York team this year. They're very bad. I don't know how they even have 2 wins. It's crazy. Okay, now we've got Sunday night. A pretty butt cheeks game for Sunday Night Football. We got the 4-4 Jets at the 4-5 Vegas Raiders. Jets are giving 1.5 and Vegas are getting 1.5. I think that's really easy, honestly. I think we are taking Vegas +1.5. I don't understand this line. This is the second line that's kind of confused me this week, where I feel like Vegas should be giving points, especially at home. They just smoked the Giants. The Jets played to a stalemate. Less than 2 weeks ago. I don't understand. seems like free money. We're taking Vegas. Or maybe the effects of the new coach bump have worn off, and the Jets' stifling defense will have their way with Vegas. I don't know. I don't understand how this is supposed to work. Now on Monday night, we've got the potential get-right game for Buffalo. We got Denver visiting Buffalo. Denver is getting 7.5 points. Denver started the season very poorly, but they seem to be clawing their way back to respectability. Buffalo started really hot, and they are, slowly giving up ground in a tough division to Miami. So I think Buffalo is the team they're supposed to be. They won't always be playing the Bengals like last week. I think they can take the lead on Denver and, put them down. We'll be taking Buffalo minus 7.5. I don't know if I feel great about it, but that's what I'm going to do. I think they can do it. All right. What should we put in here as the tiebreaker? Let's go 21. Okay, no, it's got to be bigger than that. 28-14. Let's put in 42. Submit. Now, now for my survivor picks this week. The teams I have already picked are Baltimore, Dallas, Kansas City, San Francisco, Miami, Buffalo, Seattle, Detroit, and New Orleans. And for that reason, because we've already picked Dallas, the most obvious pick of the week is off the board, which Dallas minus 16.5. We'll be taking Cincinnati over Houston. I don't feel great about it, but this is kind of the point in the year where you start picking teams you don't necessarily like that all that much. Also, Buffalo, we've taken already, so we can't take them over Denver. I think I feel a bit better about Cincinnati over Houston than I do about Buffalo over Denver for whatever reason, but either way, I don't like it all that much. We're going with the third largest spread. We're taking Cincinnati. And then for best bets, I think we will be taking Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Vegas. Let's see that again. Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Tennessee, Atlanta, Las Vegas. All right. That's been the Hot Action Podcast for this week. Good luck to everyone out there gambling. Hit like and subscribe. Tell me why I'm a dummy in the comments. And have another good week gambling, y'all. Peace.